Hey guys, welcome to the YouTube channel. My name is Ethan and this is Abraham, and we are here. We are your host for this new series that we're starting called How I Met Your Fandom. We're super excited. Abraham and I have been watching How I Met Your Mother. We moved in together in like 2013 and started watching it when it came out, and we loved that show. We watched it every week as it came out, and we had them, DVR'd or whatever, and we'd go back and watch them multiple times, and then it came out on Netflix, and we were stoked. We would rewatch it on Netflix and everything like that. And
We got our third roommate involved.
yeah, we got our other roommate, and just all of our friends loved it. And so this was our show growing up. This was our version of Friends growing up. This was the show that it was just like we latched onto in the as a perspective of our friend group, and it was so it meant a lot to us. And then we were both super stoked to see that How I Met Your Father was coming out. Uh, let alone they cast a huge star from our childhood, Hilary Duff. So we were super excited. I was all in when I saw Hilary Duff in the previews. But all that to be said, we watched the first episode and then sat down and started talking about it. I was like, holy crap, we have a lot to say about this. So we thought maybe we would start a podcast. This is our first ever podcast over anything, but I mean, Ibby and I are very used to talking to each other hour on ends of any subject. So we're really excited to do this podcast. I hope you guys love it. But yeah, with that being said, we're gonna break right down, get right into episode 1 recap of How I Met Your Father. Now, small disclaimer: this should be obvious. Everything from here on out is a spoiler. So, if you have not watched the first episode, we're going to try our best to not talk about episode 2. At this point, we've actually watched 6 episodes.
I'm an
7?
behind.
You're episode behind? Okay, I think I am too. There's one dropped today. I haven't seen the one that dropped today. But yeah, we're not going to talk about the future episodes. We're only going to talk about episode 1 and a whole bunch of How I Met Your Mother callbacks later. Yeah, what do you think about the first episode?
I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was a delight right from the jump. I mean, I didn't know what to expect. I mean, I told you before, whenever they announced it, I thought it already had come out and it was getting bad reviews, and it bummed me out. But sure enough, I watched that first episode and then rolled into the second one. And I was like, yeah, I'm in love. The show hits right from the jump. It does feel a little fast, but like you just kind of just insert you in there. But after going back and watching the first episode of How About Your Mother, it does the same thing.
Yeah.
We have hindsight on our side with that one.
Yeah.
We haven't found where they're going to fill in those reoccurring jokes and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But like right from the jump, she jumps into an Uber. Yeah, 2022. This is what a real life um depiction of New Yorkers or even like millennials, right? Like, the most common job that the first cast had was a teacher, right?
Right.
You could say a lawyer's a common job, but lawyer's high up there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He wasn't even there yet, but yeah, that's one of them. It's a very aspirational job. One of our main characters is an Uber driver.
Yeah.
And it's not a diss. That's a realistic depiction of the millennial on the workforce.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And this guy is a aspiring musician and an Uber driver full time. Meanwhile, his best friend is a bar owner. Yeah, that's dope. It's really grounded, I would say. And our hero here, our main character, our Ted Mosby, is a photographer. She is, I guess, Lily. If Lily didn't want,
Yeah.
remember when Lily went out to be an artist for like a season?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was so mad.
Yeah, that was a horrible time.
Yeah.
We all hated Lily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sucked.
Yeah, it's Hillary Duff's out here, making a living as a photographer full time. And she just hops in that car and makes friends immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And after watching it again, I am jarred by how friendly that entire car was. Have you ever been in an Uber and gotten that friendly response from the driver?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, no, it's usually they're just like tired. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
They don't want to be there.
Now, I am that guy when it's like 3 or 4 of us and somebody has to sit in the front seat. He tend to volunteer his tribute. And immediately start talking to the Uber driver about whatever, but not everybody's that personable.
Right.
And a lot of times they'll shut you down. But yeah, and this guy actually, come to think of it, he wasn't that very personable either.
The other guy was, his friend is the personable one. I can't
Mhm.
remember his name. I'm still struggling with the names of a lot of people. Like, I can't remember the names hardly at all
Man,
of like any of these people. It's like, uh,
it's Jesse.
Sophie. Um, we should have wrote them down.
Charlie, Sophie, Valentina,
Valentina, yeah, yeah. Jesse,
Jesse, and his sister, whose name I forget,
yeah.
which is actually kind of thematic of her because
Oh yeah,
he forgets it.
yeah. You forgot me, huh?
Yeah, he forgot me. No, I did. Yeah, I did. Come on.
But yeah, right off the bat, really, big energy, like getting right into the thing. But even before that, they literally are opening up the episode in How I Met Your Mother fashion. It is in the future, and it is instead of the. We'll probably talk about this a little bit more later, maybe, I don't know. But instead of the perspective of Ted Mosby's children getting the story, it's actually the perspective of the future Sophie in her house calling her child. So you get all the body language from Sophie instead of the children and all that. So that's a pretty interesting,
Switch.
yeah,
Yeah.
little switch. Like, look, we got to do this different,
Yeah.
similarly but different, and then cut straight to the past to get in the thing. And right off the bat, something I noticed, like, they set you up like this is a show about love. You know what I mean? This is
Yeah.
a show about love, and just like hearing that, his friend is gonna propose. It's gonna be an epic night. I loved the
Just like Marshall.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
just like Marshall. Big parallel there. And I love the hilarious joke about that you think she's gonna be a little bummed that she's not gonna see Beyonce. I love that joke and how it comes to fruition later.
Yeah, I'm way better than that.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. It's cute, honey. It's cute.
You're not better than Beyonce. That was so funny. And then yeah, I mean, there's I think the show's essence in general. I mean, it's funny. It does feel fast.
Yeah.
I completely agree with like fast on multiple ways. Like, it also felt like uh fast, like, delivery
Yeah.
as well.
Mhm.
Like, they don't let things like ruminate. They don't let things like develop throughout the show. It's
Mhm.
like bam, bam, bam. You only have a little bit of time to think about the joke, which maybe that's indicative of being a
Yeah.
pilot episode. Like, they
Mhm.
really had to sell multiple things
Yeah.
to try to get the. I mean, you would know a whole lot more about that kind of stuff than I would, but um, I don't know if that's just like the how pilots typically work to try to get a bunch of money from people so
Yeah. Yeah.
they can keep going, and then
Proof of concept.
yeah,
And like a lot of the times, they shoot the pilot ahead of time, hence the term pilot, and then once it's got it approved, all right, let's keep going, take it from here. So yeah, I don't know. That could be it. I didn't think of it that way. I was probably thinking more of along the lines of it's a stream television series. Versus how much Mother aired on broadcast television. So I don't know. There's no commercial breaks. There's nothing to slow it down. Maybe that's what makes it feel so fast.
hmm, maybe, yeah, I didn't think about that. But of course, I mean, you and I prepared for this episode of the podcast by watching, of course, the first episode of How I Met Your Father, but then also going back and watching How I Met Your Mother.
Mhm.
And so seeing him in the comparison of like, this is the, I mean, we had Netflix, and like, so I've watched them without commercials before.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I was thinking. I don't know. Now I want to kind of go back and look at that again. Even without commercials, it's still filmed for commercials. You know what I mean?
mm,
And now these, now I kind of want to see how it transitions any faster. You know what I mean? Just, there is no need for like that fade to black or going to commercial. It's literally just on to the next scene.
yeah,
I don't know if that's in it. That's just something I've never really noticed because like we've been watching stream television for almost a decade. But this is literally like the I don't know what's the word, continuation or the spinoff, the child of a series that we watched, on broadcast television. Literally the old guard handing off,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
here son, here daughter.
yeah,
This is what I built for you. I've already built this fandom for you. Take it away.
yeah. I really like how they kept a very similar thing in this episode from the last episode, or from the first episode of How I Met Your Mother. But it's just this idea that, um, well, actually, they do it a little bit different. So we'll talk about that here in a second. But the this first episode of How I Met Your Father ends with, and that's how I met your father,
Hmm.
and then it like shows like a whole bunch of the guys' faces and everything, right?
Right.
Like she's got this like she's had this dream guy that
She met on Tinder.
she met on Tinder, modern, so modern,
Well, yeah.
right? And then obviously her new friend who has proposed to his future wife, and of course the Uber driver Jesse, and Charlie.
Charlie.
Ch-
Charlie. He's a candidate.
yeah, they show all four faces as she says, and that's how I met your father. And of course the rebuttal from the kid on the other side is, you know, but you didn't even get with my dad or whatever.
Mhm.
And it's like, you know, so obviously they're pulling something. And if those of you who have watched episode 2 will know a little bit more about about how there is a little bit of twists and turns along the way through this. But um, I don't know. I just thought it was pretty interesting that they're not in they're not going to go the route. It doesn't seem like they're going to go the route where it's like you can't wait to meet them.
Mhm.
It's more of the route of like we have met them.
Mhm.
So I don't know how they're
100%.
yeah, I don't know how they're going to pull that off exactly. I mean, I'm curious. I'm excited to see how it goes.
Hence why they had to hide the kid.
Yeah,
You know what I
and
mean?
you and I have been talking about that.
You
You
know,
know,
like a diversity tip. You know, I mean, this series, as much love How I Met Your Mother. It's looking back on it. How did 5 friends in New York all be just white in New York, one of the most diverse cities in the world? 5 best friends, not one person of color except for Barney's brother, of all people.
right?
Who I think is really interesting because the original cast is of 5 group of friends. This new group of friends is 6, and the 6th friend is Jesse's sister, who is also a person of color, right? Uh, how much a mother played as a joke.
Right.
This is your
Yeah.
brother. This is you two are brothers. Don't ask any questions. You know what you are? You're a bunch of racists. That's what you are. It's hilarious. It is a really funny joke. And a meta joke is that Wayne Brady plays gay and he's straight versus Neil Patrick Harris being gay,
Yeah.
playing straight.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that was really interesting to 'cause I always wanted Wayne Brady to be a full member of that cast because his appearances were some of the best.
Right. Yeah.
So to actually tack that character on there and say, hey, yeah, let's call back to this, and on a flip side, if Wayne Brady is kind of the Barney Stinson of the gay community, we have Ellen here who is newly divorced and raring to get out there.
Right. Yeah.
She's going to pick up that mantle of Wayne Brady. Probably won't be as smooth, but she's gonna have fun with it. She's so. I wish I had that kind of energy in the dating world.
So going back to talking about the recasting, well, not recasting, but diversifying this cast for How I Met Your Father. Uh, how I mean, do you think that's just a 2022 thing, or like how necessary is it that they covered like so many bases with
Oh
it?
yeah,
Like at what point is it,
I think it's definitely both. I mean, like, uh, it's no secret that we're living in a more diverse, recognized, or openly recognized society where Hollywood is finally saying, you know what, yeah, as liberal as we are, let's actually reflect it, and they comprise its cast with what, 3 people of color? It's literally 6, half of them. We have a Latina, we have an Indian, Eastern, and we have uh, she's from Vietnam.
I don't remember where they
I
said
think
she's from.
I think she's Vietnamese. Yeah, no, totally. They're definitely making a concentrated effort to be more representative of their audience.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm black and I watch How Much Mother anyways. It's hilarious. It's objectively hilarious, but it was not missed on me This is a very white cast. Same thing with Friends.
Yeah.
It was not missed on me, but yeah, to see this cast, I'm like, oh yeah, y'all went for it. It's very of the time. To say that they did it on purpose. I mean, obviously did it on purpose, but like I don't think that makes it any less genuine. You know what I mean? Like you have more people of color in the room, probably, to tell better stories. And down to Sid. Sid literally from India. I'm just getting ahead of the show. Getting ahead of where we are, but we learned he's actually from India. So we have three of half of them, not even American.
Right. Yeah.
Born at least.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting too.
That is pretty cool. And I'm sure I can't wait to see character development through those cultural plots.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure once you start introducing a diverse cast, there's like no way there's not going to be an episode that's about like you just don't get it, kind of thing. Like
100%.
Sure, I'm sure that episodes come along and somehow
as long as they do it justice, you know what I mean. Like don't force it, but like how much Mother managed to do some really heavy topics without it, sounding cheesy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
and it's still like making you laugh along the way, but then like scratching your head kind of thing. So that'll be really cool to see, and that's going to take some really clever writing and direction.
Yeah,
clearly, but.
On like a Barney mirror. I don't know if this is getting off topic. On like a Barney mirroring though, on rewatching first episode, I'm excited to meet Hilary Duff's father. Again, he's out of the picture, and I didn't catch it in the first episode, but yeah, he's out of the picture. That can't go unnoticed. You know what I mean? Like that's gonna come back. We already met her mom. Getting ahead of the game. We already met her mom. Her dad's gonna come down the line and have to reconcile with it. It's gonna be one of those heavy topics, and obviously it's not so much a cultural heavy topic more than it is just a familial one, right?
Yeah.
Something that a lot of people can relate to, regardless of background.
And again, something that's like really awesome about the episode is establishing you don't understand like that's like Valentina's big line in the thing. It's like when she's talking to Jesse and he's like, man, she'll always be this way as long as she's got that love story to lean on or whatever, like of her parents. And Valentina's like, what are you talking about? And it's like, it already shows that like, Sophie's character has like a whole nother level of depth, but also grace. Like she didn't even correct them in the bar. You know what I mean? She didn't even correct them. She's just like, it is what it is. Like she clearly knows you just don't want it to be true.
Yeah, but that's literally on some like stranger shit. You know what I mean? Have you ever encountered a stranger who got you all wrong? What does it matter to correct them?
Right.
She like you just missed widely.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to prove a point here, and if it helps you to believe that, then I'll go with it. I'll probably never see you again.
Right. Right. Yeah, they all thought they weren't gonna see each other again after that bar.
I literally said,
get her phone back.
He says, when my phone is done charging, I'm outie.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know what? Go ahead, believe that lie you just made up for me. It makes you feel better.
Right. So that's another funny point about Jesse. That is a funny parallel to Robin Shabbatsky, is that they both are like viral in their own way. So Jesse goes viral because it's modern day and like things go viral, but Robin goes viral in her own terms, as in like she's the laugh of the town for falling out of that carriage, which is not in the episode one of it's like it's episode 2 or 3 or something like that. I can't remember what we found out, but Robin goes viral in her own way, so it's like there are some interesting parallels going along with these characters, which that's like our last thing to probably talk about this episode recap of How I Met Your Father, is we've really noticed that it seems like they took the How I Met Your Mother characters and like cut them in half, and then rearranged them in a way, and then added some parts here and there.
Exactly. Because it would be it would be really lazy for them to have just said, "Here's your new Barney, here's your new Ted."
Yeah,
I mean, we're over here watching this on some Simpleton stuff. It's like, oh yeah, that's Marshall. Duh. Yeah. No, they took all the elements we loved of those characters and they mixed them up.
Right.
Put them on their heads. It's like, I mean, like I can't tell you who is Barney, but Charlie says some like Barney-esque things. But he doesn't have the same like bravado.
Right. Right.
that Barney does. He's very neurotic.
Right. Yeah. I agree.
Meanwhile, Ellen has a lot of that bravado, but it doesn't land
right
the way his does.
Right. So, and then I think like Sid and Sophie have like Sid and Sophie have Marshalls,
Hmm.
like different parts of Marshall, and right,
Optimism.
like yeah,
Yeah.
optimism, goal already established,
Hmm.
like in what they want to do, kind of
Yeah.
thing. Not exactly wandering. They're just but they're like along for the ride and they
Yeah.
love it, kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um,
Meanwhile, I think you missed it a little bit. Jesse, and Robin seem to be on that same token or whatever, like the serial pessimists.
yeah,
You know what I mean, Robin
mm,
is very much a realist.
yeah,
You know, she's hardcore,
uh-huh, yeah.
I mean, Jesse is right from the get go. She calls him, what she say? What is the party pooper thing? So like she's telling the story, you know,
Yeah.
about the Tinder thing.
Oh yeah.
She's, what is the killjoy? She's calling the name. What's the killjoy thing? It's like it pegged him like in a 5-minute car ride. She's like, yeah, this guy sucks. This guy right here, Sid, I like your vibe. But this guy right here, get your mans.
Yeah. Well, uh, like I said, we also watched the first episode of How I Met Your Mother in preparation for this. But I think um, we're clearly not gonna go 1-to-1, 2-to-2 as long as we go along the way. But we thought it'd be appropriate for the first episodes to be compared to each other. So here's a little, quick little episode recap of episode 1 of How I Met Your Mother, in case it's been a while for a lot of you. Been a while for a lot of you. But it starts off lightly introducing all the characters as you go, similar to How I Met Your Father. I mean, it's the first scene is Ted. You don't see Ted, played by Bob Saget. Rest in peace, Bob Saget. And talking to his children, telling him this is the story of your mother. They slump into their seats. They don't want to hear it. They are, and then straight into Ted coaching Marshall into how to propose to Lily, and then they slowly introduce people from there, and it's all takes place in that bar that they love, and uh, the very last person you meet out of the crew is Robin, and the whole rest of the episode is Ted pursuing Robin, as if Ted has had a reawakened or newly awakened, because he wasn't like hurt and putting it off. He was just like, I'm not gonna get married until I'm like 30 or something like that. But then all of a sudden, it's like, dang it, I need to find the girl I love.
Yeah.
And like, first girl he sees is Robin. And so he says, Robin's gonna be the girl that I love. And the whole rest of the episode does a lot of extremes. They go on a first date and they talk about the olive theory, which is pretty funny. The blue French horn, like these are all gonna be reoccurring jokes throughout the thing. And then of course, it ends with Ted just like misreading Robin completely, missing his chance. He didn't catch the signal, which I think my favorite joke in the first episode of How I Met Your Mother is when they're talking about the signal the first time, and Barney's like, the signal doesn't matter. They don't have to give you a signal. You just kiss them, and which is like that lands differently in 2022. But the thing that's funny is he just directly turns and lays one on Marshall, and he was like, "See, Marshall didn't give me the signal. I still kissed him."
Yep.
And Marshall's like, "I didn't give him the signal," and he like looks at like Lily, and it like cracks me up. He's like so genuinely like scared that Lily thinks he gave him the signal. Oh my gosh, that joke cracks me up. It kills me.
Oh yeah. Marshall's talking about boyish charm. You know what I mean? That's what Charlie was talking about. You know what I love about you? My boyish charm, but my boyish charm, my all man body. That's Marshall to a T.
By the way, dude, Charlie is jacked. Holy crap, so shredded.
He's Marshall if he went to the gym.
Yeah,
he's tall, jacked. It's just that Marshall.
So shredded.
It's from Minnesota.
Yeah. Which is super interesting because they introduced something about Marshall way later on in the series, because like they talk about how like Marshall's too gentle with Lily or something like that.
Yeah.
He's like, he's never been in a fight in his life, and then eventually you find out that him and his brothers had like a underground fight. But I don't know, maybe that's just probably something they weren't thinking about in the first. Clearly, it's the pilot.
You can say you've never been in a fight. It's a true story. You know what I mean? Like,
he just didn't count any of those.
Fighting with your siblings is not the same as fighting with a stranger.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
You might pull your punches. You might pull your punches. Sorry, if I'm lying, if they're American. Me and my brother, we fought a lot, and I still wouldn't count it as like. Yeah, I've probably been in 3 fights in my life. I mean, I fought my brother a million times, but he doesn't count.
um, but yeah, How I Met Your Father. I mean, that's basically the rest of the episode. Ted does some stupid stuff. He says "I love you" like
Mm-hmm.
on the first date, and
Yeah.
he had it in. He was home free. Him and Robin are about to have a great night together,
Yeah.
and he ruins it by doing some dumb stuff, doing some hopeless romantic stuff, and still almost clutches it up again,
Yeah.
and then misses it.
It
Like,
messes it.
dude,
Yeah.
yeah, like tough.
On just another parallel for those first two episodes, getting off on the like that tone, following that tone. Is a show about hopeless romantics finding love, and that's Ted, and that's Sophie, right? And Ted does his first grand romantic gesture. He's going to go right to her house. He's going to steal that blue French horn. He's going to sweep her off her feet. Sophie, this old boy's boarding pass. And
Mm-hmm.
she decides to go to the airport
Mm-hmm.
and make a grandstand before he flies off to Australia, never be seen again. Yeah, didn't have to do that.
Yeah,
Probably was very irrational.
yeah. And it is really interesting to see how the episodes conclude those two things
Hmm.
differently. It the gesture actually works for Ted,
Yes.
and then he messes it up.
Yeah.
And for Sophie, the gesture doesn't work, and it's like a big bummer. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Um, and then defaulting. The after we forgot to talk about the end of episode one of How I Met Your Father. They end up on the bridge and have us the Brooklyn Bridge
Hmm.
and have established their new friend group walking across this thing, and it that was like a ritual that Sophie had designated for a certain somebody and has
Hmm.
now done it with her friend group. But it makes you also wonder if that certain somebody's actually in that,
Yeah.
if they're going to make that come to full
Yeah.
fruition that the first time she walked it was with,
Yeah. Exactly.
Jesse or,
Exactly.
Sid or Charlie.
Now it kind of has to. I mean, like in how much your mother goes, at least two of them are going to hook up outside of their own like pairing. So like Charlie and Valentina are doomed. Ellen called it.
Yeah.
Totally doomed relationship. They're not going to make it, but they're not going to go away either.
Mm,
So it's just going to be who they cling to next.
yeah.
And then of course Hillary Duff or Sophie is going to. And Jesse's too obvious. It probably won't be
It's
Jesse.
so obvious.
Probably
Yeah.
won't be Jesse. But like you said outside of this, probably Sid. Sid's getting married. He's engaged to be married, but she is not in town. That's probably also doomed.
Mm,
You Barney and Robin didn't make it, so
yeah.
who said they're going to make it?
Yeah.
And again, getting ahead of the game, they already revealed a wrinkle in their relationship,
Mm,
so that's probably only going to grow in Rift. But I also wanted to add on that grand romantic gesture in the parallel of the two of them didn't end in the kiss. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
You're right.
Oh, he missed his signal. And, I think his name's Ian. Ian read the signal. He even asked,
Yeah.
and he just said that they don't.
Yeah.
And then on the flip, at the airport, it was just mutually understood that this is not going to happen.
This is not gonna work out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Man, but I guess it's cool to see. Of course they're doing it differently because Ian left, but
for
both of
now.
them, yeah, for now, yeah, surely he's coming back.
Yeah,
But both of them end rooted in their friend group. It's just different for How I Met Your Mother because Robin is in the friend group. So, which of course tortures Ted for seasons,
yeah,
right? Tortures Ted for like seasons.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, and I guess like thinking about comparing the two episodes, like the a huge difference between episode one of both these episodes is Robin is the bait and switch of episode one, whereas um How I Met Your Father ends very open ended,
Mhm.
where he tells you right off the bat that's your Aunt Robin.
Yeah,
Of course, anyone who's like a fan of How I Met Your Mother knows what happens with like Ted and Robin and the actual mother and everything like that. But uh, we're sitting at episode one, and we can't roll anyone off the board.
no,
So, uh,
yeah,
yeah, I don't. I don't know. It's super interesting to see where we are with the new show compared to the old show.
Something else that I found interesting on as a parallel between Sophie and Ted is just the casting. I don't know. Maybe I was too young. Who is Josh Radnor? He's the lead actor of this successful show.
Yeah.
And I would argue, I don't even have to argue, it's facts. Everyone on that cast is more famous than him.
Oh yeah, for
Is
sure.
more successful than him.
Yeah.
If not before, they are now.
Yeah.
Jason Segel, didn't know who he was before the show, but he's
A lot of movies.
a leading man and a writer
Mm.
in movies. This dude did the Muppets, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? He is a star. He's a very talented, multi-talented talent. Meanwhile, Lily, whose name I can't remember right now, was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Right.
And Bandcamp. What was that movie called?
Oh, American Pie. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And it's still on weekly television
Exactly.
with Penn and Teller.
Yeah. Yeah. But then we have, Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah.
The legend, the man,
Yeah.
the myth, the legend. Dude played himself in the Harold and Kumar franchise. He played a parody of himself. That I don't know. Is that before? How much about that? It's the same time.
Yeah,
At the same time. Yeah. Yeah. He played a parody of himself, and it was hilarious. He's part of the best part of those movies. And then Robert Schabotsky, again, kind of Colby Smulders, kind of a no name, is now in the MCU. Maria Hill, and has done multiple other things outside of that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I loved her in that one movie.
Jack Reacher.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was good.
She's out here working. What has Josh Radnor done before How Much Money? And what he's done since? I'll tell you
I
what he's
couldn't
done.
tell you.
A show called X, or Hunters. The logo is next. It's called Hunters. It's on Amazon Prime. About a team of Jewish people who are hunting down Nazis in the 70s. It's really, really good.
Okay.
And he plays an actor. He's a Jewish actor, and that's his role. They all have their own special skills. His skill is the most useless one. That's someone who acts. I'll tell you, there'll be people who can shoot, people who can make bombs, people who are just really good fighters. And this guy over here, he's an actor. His whole role is, is misdirection. When he gets involved, he wears a costume, and he just, it's silly. But he's good at it. But yeah, don't get me wrong, I was elated to see him on stage again, or on screen again. Like, where have you been? Yeah. How are you the leader of this show and then not do anything after?
Right.
On the flip side, well, I can tell How Much Father is a cast of nobodies. Respectfully. They ever see this. Like they are no name. Well, their IMDb pages have projects under them, but I've just never seen them in anything. I wasn't checking for them whenever they were being cast.
I could have sworn I knew who Valentina was, but then I went and looked at her IMDb and I was like, I haven't seen any of this stuff.
The only person I know of outside of Hilary Duff is Jesse, whose name again I can't remember either, his real name, but he was in another great show called Glow on Netflix. He's great. He's one of my favorite characters on Glow. So to see him get cast in this, I was like, great. But yeah, Hilary Duff anchors that. Star talent. They said right from the jump. When she's texting Ian, who's your childhood crush or first crush or whatever, and I'm over here thinking Hilary Duff. I'm watching you right now. So to see you grow into this role is like, I don't know, like something special. And if I'm not mistaken, I was telling Ethan this off camera, obviously, that this show, or before this show, they're trying to revive Lizzie McGuire. It's all in for Lizzie McGuire revival. As long as it was on Hulu. And from what I understand, it fell through because, it wasn't what Hilary Duff wanted to do, right? Like, she wanted a more adult series, more adult storytelling, and Disney wanted to put it on Disney Plus and ruin it like they did Girl Meets World. Yeah, no. She was on that right tip. That's true. Like, you imagine grown-up Hilary Duff series, complete with the Bitmoji. Yeah. Where she's an animated Hilary Duff is complaining about the lame dick she got the night before. You know what I mean? That is what I wanted to see. That's what I want to dial it up to 2022. She's 30-something, and she's out here a career woman. Like, I can't believe this Josh guy was so whack last night. You know what I mean? Not calling back. Ghosted or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, that show didn't make it. And then How Much Your Father came. And I was like, this is it. This is the same trimmings of what I wanted. Minus Gordo and Miranda.
Yeah. Miss them. But,
yeah.
Yeah, that would actually be really funny. And then the deep the really deep episode is her like realizing that she's like schizo or something like that. She, like should not be like
Yeah.
talking to herself the way she is.
Yeah, just her friend's like, hey, you used to do that when we were kids. Is it happening again? Is it who are you talking to?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Or just to even like on some like meta shit, like she has a Bitmoji on her phone, and just like the animated version, just like looking at her like. I would say for in a roundabout
I
way.
don't see it.
Yeah, in a roundabout way, she was the first Bitmoji, right?
Yeah.
Like yeah. Thanks, Snapchat, or Snapchat should be thanking uh Hillary Duff or Lizzie McGuire, the creator of the show.
I want to go back and see if those hold up. Those old
I
Lizzie
doubt it.
McGuire
I
shows.
doubt it. Yeah. I mean, it was there, and you know it's gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I used to love That's a Raven. I'll never go back to that show.
Well, yeah, we're both pretty thankful that How I Met Your Father is the bit of nostalgia that it's landed on. So I'm super stoked to see what's gonna happen from here. So like, let's talk about some expectations that we have. Expectations that we have. I think we've already talked about a couple. Like we have a couple of ideas of plot lines that are gonna happen potentially. Like clearly, I wholeheartedly expect them to interdate each other multiple times in different cycles. Or well, first of all, I really hope and expect that the series should go to like I think I need it to be like 5 seasons.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't want anything,
You know me, yeah. Like I'm over here, I'm falling in love with miniseries.
right.
You know what I mean? I am all about Ted Lasso. It came out the gate, three seasons. I like a show that's gonna end. You know what I mean, don't give me Supernatural.
Yeah. Yeah. Dang.
R.I.P. Love that show. But 15 seasons is a bit much. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I'm gonna watch it. You know I am. But I'm gonna watch it begrudgingly. Like, why don't you just die? You know. But yeah. 5 seasons sounds good to me.
Yeah.
They're in their early 30s. I think they're established as 30. To just see them go through, we're in our 30s. We're about to. That's another thing. We're about to experience this show from a whole new lens. Because maybe we'll go deeper into this because as we talk about this. But How Much Your Mother was like pivotal. Like it, I related to it as a teenager.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I aspired to it. You know what I mean? In our 20s, our early 20s, I was all about suiting up.
Yeah.
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 I can't wait to get a suit. It won't be a Barney Stinson expensive suit, but it's gonna be a suit.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a tie. Give me an excuse to wear a tie.
Yeah.
And I am in. And now I'm really relaxed on that.
Yeah.
I kind of hate ties, but yeah, just
Still look good though. Look good.
Thank you,
Yeah.
man.
You better keep it fresh.
But yeah, to be 30 and to watch this series, as a 30-year-old, and just kind of go along with them. It's gonna be an interesting experience, and just see like the trials and tribulations they're gonna go through. I hope between their relationships, obviously, and then home buying, and just again in the millennial experience. Like they're living in New York.
Yeah.
As millennials, that can't be easy.
Right.
And not to get too off track again, but like they start to talk about that with Charlie and Ellen. Like,
Right.
Yeah, I'm loving this millennial storytelling in the sense that no one can explain how Monica afforded that apartment in 1990.
Yeah.
That apartment is unreal.
Yeah.
And now it's over here like, okay, we should really shrink this apartment, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
I want them to feel like they're really in New York right now, not on some set.
Yeah. I mean, even Valentina and Sophie's place.
Tiny.
Yeah, it's tiny, but I got a lot of friends that live in New York, and I've seen their digs, and it's like, we're talking like Harry Potter cupboard tiny kind of places. Like, but no, I really think that's a great expectation for the series. Is like, this show taught millennials a lot of things that were very applicable to what was going to be happening to them. Like, gosh, like there was for a while, like I was like, I'm Ted. You know what I mean? Like I'm Ted Mosby, and I was like, okay, no, there was just like a thing that was like a parallel of Ted Mosby. You know what I mean? And so like I like could use some things that Ted showed, or I could use some things that Barney showed us, but I think you're right. Like flipping it now and being like, the story is about you all now. So here's the things that you guys are going to relate to. Last time it entertained you all. This
Yeah.
time it's about you all. So
Mhm.
like that'll be cool to see. I really we've talked about this. I really expect for this series to actually have a whole lot of references. We've already seen one in the two, three, like three in the first episode. First, the bar. It's not Pendleton's.
Yeah.
Um,
McLaren's.
McLaren's.
Yeah.
What's Pendleton's? Oh, that's one down
Pendleton's
the
what it's
street.
called now.
Oh,
It's
that's
called
what it's called. Oh,
Pendleton's now,
sorry.
yeah.
What's the one down the street?
Down the street from us?
Yeah,
Porky's?
the one your brother goes to.
Oh, Middleton's.
Middleton's. Sorry. Okay. It's not McLaren's. It looks a whole lot like it,
Mhm.
but that is their social hub,
Mhm.
right? We've seen the apartment. It's got the swords in it,
Mhm.
so I would count like those two
Yeah.
as like twice or whatever.
And we know that apartment is near McLaren's.
Right.
Yeah, and like on some like dark meta tip, what if obviously McLaren's closed down for whatever reason? It's New York, bars closed, but we know that he just bought this bar, and we know the name of that bar before he bought it. It was something else before he bought the bar. What
Right.
if Kobe shut that one down?
Yeah. So I was wondering if they're gonna talk about COVID at all. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. It's the show. It might be a little escapist. You know what I mean?
right.
Honestly, I kind of hope they don't. I would appreciate if they acknowledge that it existed, right? But like, actually quit a show because it beat down COVID. What's that show called? The Good Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what his name, but like he plays an autistic doctor.
Yeah.
That show was hitting for like 2 seasons, and then COVID hit. You could tell that like the writers' room was like, scrap everything. We got to talk about COVID. And right from the jump, I'm like, yeah, this feels preachy. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of want to escape. Yeah.
Yeah. I deal with this stuff every day.
Yeah.
I watch stuff about it.
I was working at the hospital at the time. It was like,
Yeah.
I kind of want to escape this. What are you talking about? So yeah. If they bring it up, you see somebody wearing masks or talk about that time that they were locked up in their apartments, that'd be hilarious. Talk about like a callback, you know what I mean? Just like flashback 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, what they were doing. Do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But
New York went on lockdown
yeah,
hard.
exactly. Tell me about the time you were fucking stuck in your tiny apartment.
Yeah, what'd you do?
I want to see that story.
That's a funny
Yeah.
story. Yeah.
But I just don't want them to like lean too hard on it because they haven't so far. They haven't even mentioned it.
Yeah, and there's not a mask on the show.
Exactly.
You haven't
So,
even seen the mask.
I can respect that, but also like definitely call back to it for sure. But no, it's really I think there's if McLaren closed down for whatever reason, then it changed hands, and that got shut down by COVID. Which is why old boy got a hold of it. That's just like a little theory. They'll probably never even explain, but
it could be. That would be.
It just explains why it's not McLaren's beforehand.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that show ended in 2014, and then they literally called that bar something else before he bought it, and it looks very similar.
It does look similar.
Yeah.
I would say like the front door is different, so that's what throws me off about it.
Renovations, man.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
They're literally painting that mug.
yeah, they are painting it, but like the layout is very similar. The taps are on the right side, and everything else is on the left side. Even the jukebox is in the same area.
I appreciate like on some McLaren shit. Carlos was just this little esoteric character in the background, making comments every once in a while. Now Carlos is the main character.
Yeah,
it's the character who has a little sidekick guy who's like a Gen Z.
Yeah.
Gen Z student.
Yeah, I like him. I hope they
yeah.
use him a little bit more.
It's as a millennial, it's just kind of funny to see how old we are. You know what I mean? In comparison.
Yeah. Okay, they're kind of making me feel a little too old though. Whenever they're saying their like new hip terms weird, I'm like offended. Like I know what both those mean and I use them. Okay, like these I don't know. That's just
same. No, 100%. It's like nah, man, we ain't that disconnected.
Yeah, like come on. Oh my gosh, that's cringy. But yeah, like some more expectations for the series. I really hope to see. I wouldn't mind seeing some stuff like some really popular episodes be redone in this tale, like the Doppelgangers episode.
Oh my god!
Like
yes,
you know what I mean. Like some of the really solidly comical episodes that aren't story plot episodes, but they're just like funny things. Like I would love to see that kind of stuff come back.
Yeah. On that tip, that's the whimsical, right?
Right.
This is a show that's very real, but also very much a television show.
Right.
Right. And so far, maybe because it's only 10 episodes and budget and whatnot, this is feeling like a very much like a real show. Or sorry, like a real life experience. And I really hope they go into more of the whimsical gags.
Yeah.
Like, give me that doppelganger. I mean, come with your own, obviously. Come with your own.
Right.
But fan service. The doppelganger thing is real. The real, like, I've seen my doppelganger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and you're in New York City. Bring the doppelganger thing back. That thing is hilarious. It doesn't have to be a slap bet. The slap bet was a great bit. Yeah. Great bit that ran for the entire series.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
The the Billy Zabka stuff, which I credit to. I will die on his hill. How Much Your Mother revived, or is the reason why you have a Cobra Kai.
Oh.
How Much Your Mother is the reason why you have a Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai is a great show, by the way. I don't know if you guys watch it. But
never watched it, but without watching it, I'm telling you right now, it's a combination of like the return of nostalgia. Return of nostalgia? It's kind of weird to say, but essentially nostalgic content, which How Much Father might be a little bit, seems a little soon to call it nostalgic.
Yeah.
But, it's based off of an earlier IP. But yeah, everything's being redone. Bring it back. For an audience that it's safe. We know this is going to work. That combined with Barney Stinson bringing Billy Zabka onto the show and like just honoring him as the hero of this movie series, Karate Kid. Yeah, like I don't know much about Karate Kid, but I will tell you that Billy Zabka is like I don't even know this guy. Is that his name? Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's Billy Zabka.
You're better at that.
I don't know his actual character name. You know what I'm saying? The actor is Billy Zabka. Yeah, and he's brought back on the series. It's like a running gag. I think he's like best man at his wedding or something like that.
Yeah.
Or officiate. I think he officiates the wedding. It's crazy. I mean, yeah. So off my soapbox. How Much Your Mother made me Cobra Kai.
It probably did.
Yes,
it probably did. Well, you got any other expectations or anything?
I mean, other than that, not really. Really just hope they bring back those gags. I really hope they, the whole COVID thing, that'd be really funny. I hope so. I hope it's funny.
Yeah. They need to make it funny.
Like, we all live that.
Yeah.
And, I don't know if this counts as expectations or more of a definite expectation. I do expect to see Hilda's father. I'm curious of who they're going to cast. I mean, guess when they do that, the mom, I don't know who she is. But if they're going to bring her, like, John Lithgow was Barney Stinson's father. That's the Trinity killer, right? Mm-hmm. More things than that, but he's hot for that reason alone. Great actor, iconic actor.
Robin's dad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Whenever they bring, this isn't. I don't know if this counts, but Marshall's dad, he voiced Patrick Star.
Did he really?
He did.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So it's like you didn't recognize him. You heard his voice. I picked it together whenever you heard one of his voicemails. So just seeing hearing his voice,
oh, okay,
seeing his face, like
yeah.
That's Patrick Star. What's that called? What's that?
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio. But yeah, man. I was curious. I think they're going to bring him out, assuming the show succeeds. I feel like it's a plot point that can't be avoided. Like your father abandoned you. He's going to want to come back. How do you reconcile that?
Yeah.
And
how does it affect whatever relationship she's in at that time?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly. And because lost my thought. But after that, that's about it. Yeah, that's mine.
Well, our last portion of the show is dedicated to hot takes. Guys, we're gonna do this like every week if we can, if there is a hot take to take, or to have, or to give, or whatever. But this is the part we'd like to have your interaction on. If you have something that you think is like a big call out or a hot take of something that's going to come up, make sure to tell us down in the comments. It'd be great. We'd love to hear it, and we'll talk about the ones that we think are pretty valid. But I got a hot take. I don't know if you got a hot take, but I got a hot take.
I'll go first.
Oh, you go
My
first?
hot take is not very much a hot take.
Okay.
It's all a misdirect. Red herring. We have not, in fact, met the father yet. And they're gonna pull some I can't remember her name, but just pull the Ted Mosby thing on us. And maybe the father was in the bar that night to make it that night I met your father. You know what I mean? He was in the vicinity, but we didn't see him yet. And to kind of back it up, I don't believe Josh Peck is the father. Yeah, just how many more men are we going to meet? That we know that Josh Peck was there
Mm-hmm.
at the party. We didn't see him at the party. We watched it again. We did not see him at the party. He was at the party or at the party at the
At the
engagement.
bar, yeah,
The
yeah.
engagement. We didn't see him, but he was there. So who else was there?
She also had a bad Tinder date that day.
She
I
also
think.
had a bad.
Oh no, wait, no, that wasn't that day.
Yeah,
That was
it
like 2
wasn't
weeks
that day.
ahead.
Yeah,
Never mind.
yeah. So yeah, just hot take that if it's not Ian, if Ian doesn't come back, which I hope he does, because Ian's cool. If he doesn't come back, then yeah, I think that the father might just not be in the, or it might just not have been in that little montage. He was in the bar, but we haven't met him yet.
So my hot take is building off of something that you noticed way before I did, or put together way before I did. You said they can't show you the kid because it is a multiracial cast now. So whatever color the kid would be the the dead giveaway of who the father is. You know what I mean? And so I got to thinking about that. I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But so my hot take is now actually, which I don't know if it can be true because I've rewatched the episode multiple times, but it's still a hot take I'm going to throw out there. Is that she is not the biological mother of the kid that she is talking to. I think tragedy befalls one of the castmates and she adopts the kid.
Dude, that's going to be so hard to watch.
Yeah.
I'll get attached to these characters.
Yeah.
I was like crying when Marshall's dad died.
Right. Did you know there's a countdown? There's a count that they hid numbers in the shows that count down until Marshall's dad dies. From like 100 to like 00, and then he gets the phone call that his dad's dead or whatever.
Whoa! Don't recall that.
It popped up on like TikTok. I don't know how true it is.
Yeah.
Because it's a whole bunch of clips put together.
Yeah.
But there's like literally like just a whole bunch of numbers in every show, and they're oddly apparent. Like they'll like force be. Like it almost does look forced. Like they'll be holding up a book and it'll have a number on it. It's like there's no reason why they should be holding up that book, but it's got the number on it.
That's wild. I love the kind of Easter eggs. That right there. I mean, like his father was it wasn't so much that his father died; it's that Marshall experienced it.
Yeah.
Right. That's the feel. And then on that same tip, Barney reconnected with his father. It's not much the father; it's Barney experiencing it. This is another level. This is literally one of the characters having to. Two of the characters, presumably.
Yeah.
I mean, you like throw it out there. Charlie and Valentine could have a tragic accident on an airplane or something like that.
Right.
Or just in the car. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's COVID. Nah, probably not COVID. But
yeah.
Well, COVID's not going away. But anyways, yeah. So to just actually have one of the core characters, experience tragedy. That was like a personal tragedy. That would suck.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, it's a long shot, especially based off the words she's using when she's talking to them to make that make sense. Like they'll have to like maybe like retcon something or something because like the kid is very much like you didn't even get with dad that night, and like I don't know which form he means of get with.
Yeah.
But like and what that conclusion means for him to say that, but. Yeah, I just think if they're trying to go M. Night Shyamalan crazy plot twist, the kid's adopted.
Yeah, I get with your father because we never got together.
Yeah,
plot twist exactly. How I Met Your Father. This is not a show about
how I met my husband. It's your father.
Exactly.
Which is exactly the same plot twist that How Much Your Mother uses, right?
Yeah.
Like he ends up with Robin.
Yeah.
But when you meet his wife, you were like. You are just in love as Ted is with this character because she is perfect for Ted, and they take you away like that. They take her away. That was like they do it in an episode, man. It was like crazy. Like I remember watching that episode. Anyways, that's a whole another discussion probably. That's another podcast probably. But well, everybody, this has been our first episode of How I Met Your Fandom. I'm Ethan. This is Brian. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys like it. If you guys do, make sure you share it around. Comment some stuff that maybe you guys want us to talk about, or some things you love about How I Met Your Mother, or some things you love about the new show, or like think the new show could do better. I mean, there's room for criticism everywhere. So we'd love to talk to you guys about it. Hope you guys enjoyed this.
The fandom.
Yeah, welcome to the fandom. Bye, everybody.